Look at this problem again. This is the single boxcar coming in at 10 meters per second. It links up with the 5 boxcars, and we found that it went off at 2 meters per second. And we got that too by just conserving momentum. We had 5 times as much mass moving. It had to move 1/5 as fast. Now, what if the first car bounces? If it, instead of linking, it bounces, will this final velocity be greater than 2, equal to 2, or less than 2? Remember, it was 2 if it links. Will these 4 cars be going faster, the same, or slower? With your clicker, okay, let's see how we did. Oh, most of us got that right. It'd be greater. Okay, this was one of the biggest ideas in that tutorial last week. And that is that momentum's a vector. And because it's a vector, you can lose more than everything. Let's look at 2 situations. One where A links with the 4, and the other one where A bounces. If A links with the 4, it comes in with a certain momentum, and it links and still moves to the right, so A still has momentum to the right, just not as much. Now the change in momentum is what I have to add this long vector to turn it into a short vector. That's going to be the change in momentum for A. Now that's important because whatever change A has to the left, the 4 cars have the same change to the right. So that means I would have a change in momentum for the 4, the same size to the right. Now I know that because the change in momentum for the system of A and the 4 cars has to be 0. And in order for that to be 0, whatever change A has, the 4 cars have to have the same change but in the opposite direction. So when I add them together, I get 0. Now, let's look at the case of A bouncing. I have the same initial momentum for A, but now the final momentum is to the left. And I put those tail to tail because I'm looking for the difference between them. The change vector is what I have to add to this one to bring it all the way down to 0 and out the other way. And that means if I got a bigger change for A, I'm going to have a bigger change for the 4. And so that means they will be going faster. Now you remember in that tutorial, student 1, and you should have been nervous that it was student 1. Student 1 says, oh, well, you're always going to lose the most momentum when A stops, because you can't lose more than everything. That's not true with vectors or with credit cards. Quick story. Back when tech stocks were just booming, just going crazy, my wife was working for a doctor that was making much more money in the stock market than in his office. And he kept telling my wife, you and Greg ought to get in on this. It's free money. I mean, it just keeps going up. And she said, you know, we don't have any money. Well, the next week, we each got an envelope from Discover, and Discover offered us $20,000. We could write ourselves a check, and we wouldn't have to pay it back for a year, no interest. Just free money. So that's what we did. We each wrote ourselves a check for $20,000. We took the $40,000, we put it into some of the most exciting tech stocks, and 2 weeks later, it all crashed and it was worthless. Did I lose everything? No, I lost more than everything. I didn't own that $40,000. And I tell you this story so that you can learn from my mistakes. Never bet with money you don't own, and never bet with money that you do own. Okay? That's the message that I want to share with you.